Welcome back everyone to The Coach Approach. It's your coach Blake of the Black Baker, and today we're going to be going over preseason 2021 gameplay plans. Now, if you guys are like, this stuff came out, as you see down there, 5 months ago, you guys know me. I will not put out a patch notes. I will not put out any content unless I know it's for sure. But this is a little different because the season wasn't over, and I don't like to focus on the next season until I'm done with the first season. So the season, I think today is the last day coming to a close. So if you're watching it today, good luck. I hope you guys are reaching your goals. But yeah, I don't like doing that because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the proper content. There's a lot of YouTubers that will make patch notes before the patch notes come out and then be like, oh, that didn't even get added to the game, and now they look like a fool. I don't like being one of those people, right? I can look like a fool about myself. I don't need to have Riot help me look like a fool. You know what I mean? So if you guys are interested and you guys are like me, where you guys just don't care about this until the end of the season, the start of preseason, then we're going to be going over this and the other subsequent releases that they have been going. We're going to do each one in each video. So this video is just going to be preseason 2001 gameplay plans, and we're going to start from the beginning and go all the way till the most recent. I want to plan on doing more stuff like this. This is part of the coach chat category, but I want to do more things about what Riot is putting out, whether it be about League of Legends, just anything really. I'll try to keep it more about League of Legends unless it's something that's really like, oh, that's cool. But for the most part, I do want to try to be more open about my thoughts about what they're doing and things like that, because maybe you guys care about my opinion, maybe you don't. But without further ado, this took too long. Let's get started. All right, preseason 2021 game plans. Hey everyone, hi. It might feel weird to talk about preseason in June, but we want to start the conversation early so we have plenty of time to prepare and give feedback. June is extremely early. I agree. When we developed the last year's preseason Rise of Elements, we wanted to expand and evolve League of Legends in an unexpected and exciting way. First of all, I need to freaking look at this first because I can't be reading slowly for you guys. I'm just saying, sometimes I got hiccups when I read, and I don't want you guys to see that. Am I probably going to do the pre-read first? Maybe not, but it's a thought. It's a thought. Rise of Elements. Now, that is pretty much where the dragons do their thing, and the whole map changes. So that's pretty much what they're talking about. If you guys are new to League of Legends, that wasn't a thing before. Elements were a thing, but the map never changed. And then before that, the dragon just gave you gold, and there was no different types of dragons. So Rise of Elements just means when things are changing, when the map changes. That's what it means. Elements adds different element rifts add even more spice, and each game of League of Legends is a new challenge. I don't think that's true. Although I do like the map changes. They feel more like a theme of a map rather than like, oh, that's cool, because you're really playing for the dragon. You don't really care about the map. I will honestly say there's not many plays I went for that really only happened because we had the map change. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks like that, but I swear those changes didn't really do much. Just it makes the map look cool, and I like the new feel of it. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't really add any type of new gameplay for me. It was kind of the same, except for the dragons, of course. When looking at all the possibilities for this year preseason, we decided to take a different approach. This year, we're going to invest League's future of building up and refining one's League's foundational gameplay systems. Preseason 2021's gameplay change will focus on a fully upgraded shop interface and a top-to-bottom rework of the item system. It's worth saying that there are a lot of satisfying, well-designed items in the current system, and let's stop there. Satisfying items, I don't know. When I play certain champions, I tend to just build the same thing, unless I really have to change. And I'm only changing that because stuff like Malzahar, Warwick, the Sash, the Banshees, or the Zonias, there's not many items where I just straight up innovate and it's like, yeah, this item is perfect for this game. Like, that doesn't really, I'm usually just building for what I'm going against, not for how I want to play my champion. And so I think that's probably what they're looking to do, is make it so you can change your build based off how you play the champion, and not only changing items because, oh, that team has that specific enemy. You always have to go this item. You know what I mean? Give me the best part of the system. is one of our 4 central philosophies. We only want to improve or replace the areas that aren't fulfilling their potential. In terms of change, we're estimating something like a 34% retain, 33% improve, and 33% new. And that's a lot for me to do, by the way. It's one thing to like play the game and then play your role, or it's another to have to know all the roles and all the champions, and then I have to do all these items, and when items go, I have to basically learn the game all over again, right? It's kind of screwed me, I'm not gonna lie, but I'll do it for you because I always do. In this blog, we're going to lay out some of our goals and philosophies around items in League of Legends to start the conversation with you all about what we hope to bring to the preseason. Now, disclaimer, I have not actually played any of the items on PvE. I've seen a couple, but I've never like actually physically, I wanted to make sure that my thing is recording. I haven't actually physically went and played any of them. So if you're like, oh, this item is removed already, or that they're not adding that, I don't know, because like I said, we're going to be catching up here. I didn't want to focus any of the time that I used to focus on the students and just on you guys helping get better on preseason, or on the next season when it's not here yet. You know what I mean? So I won't know until we get there. Okay. The ideal item system. The first step was to revisit and refine our stance on what the item system is meant to do for League, and what the ideal item system would look like. Here are our current principles and some thoughts on how close to the ideal we are today. Items provided power for early game consequences in high moments. The core reason for the item system existence is so players become more powerful over the course of a game at different paces, with early success generating gold that pushes your item build ahead of your opponents. Is there a dark mode, by the way? Because this is ridiculous. Let me know in the comments if there's a dark mode somewhere, because this is kind of like hurt my eyes a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Every outplay or misplay creates consequences for your power later on in the game, but not so much that comebacks are impossible. This ensures that there's meaning to actions at all stages of the game and enable the rare but extremely satisfying game where you individually carry. Current assessment, very good. Okay, we're feeling pretty good about the current state of snowball and power curves in the game. This preseason shouldn't dramatically shift the overall power of gold efficiency in the game. I actually agree about that. There's not really a game where it's like, oh, that guy's so snowbally, we lose. Like, there are certain circumstances, but those are usually smurfs. When you're playing with people that are around your elo, when someone snowballs, it doesn't really mean the game is over. So, I do agree with that. I like that every role, every champ at least has their time to try to shift the change, you know, regardless of what items they're building. It's pretty cool. Items are satisfying to earn and use. Each game has a miniature RPG loop where your champion powers up from weak to godlike strength. The item system is key to making the ascent in power feel earned and satisfying. Current assessment, good. The gold system, I don't know. There's some champs that don't even need items and they're just strong off the bat. I feel like there should be a minimum where all champions are kind of, I don't know though, because that's kind of hard. Because if you're like, oh, well, every champ should be pretty much equal in terms of power early, and then based off how you're doing, they get stronger. Then what about champions that are like super early game, and then the champions that are super late game? Well, if the super early game champions are on par with the super late game champions early, when it gets to late game, the super early game champions are going to lose, you know, potential, and the late game champs are actually going to keep going. So I don't think that's a hard one, and I don't even think that's like an item thing. That definitely is not really an item thing. But how would you do that, right? You have a Gnosis that's just as strong as Renekton, really. Then how would you win? Because then he'll just won't do nothing, and then he'll just outscale you anyway. And of course, that's what Gnosis does, but at least he can't fight you early, right? He can't do anything. Same thing for like mid lane with Syndra. Takes a while, right? Doesn't really do much. I mean, she does, but it's not like crazy. It takes some time to get there. Master Yi, same thing. Like if all these champions had that early game strength like all the other champions do, and we were all just in a balanced early game playing field, the late game would be atrocious, because it's like, do we just win or we straight lose? It's not going to be in between anymore. It's going to be like we win by here or we just straight lose the game. And so I don't think that's an item thing, but I also think that there should be something around the fact that your champion isn't just straight bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I know it's hard. I'm not saying, you know, balancing is easy. A lot of people give Riot, problems about their balancing, but the balancing isn't the design team, right? If someone's like, hey, I mean, obviously a writer can correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone's like, hey, here's a champion, go nuts, and then the balance team is like, what the hell is this, man? They have to then balance a champion that they didn't create, and so that would be really difficult. And then on top of that, you're not balancing the one champion, you're balancing that champion to help balance the other champions that are released, and then you have to balance that with the items that are. It's a lot of work, and I wouldn't even want to do it with one champion, let alone as many as are releasing in one damn year. So I know people give a lot of flack to Riot about that type of stuff, but I just feel like people that do that don't really understand what they're going through, and that's just kind of how it is in life in general. Everybody always has their own solution to things and stuff like that, but they don't realize like the people that actually work on the game understand your solutions, but they also understand it's abusable, or they understand it's not going to be as good as you think it will, and they ran those type of tests already. So definitely think that what they do is really difficult, and the fact that they're trying, it means a lot, you know. Let's see. The goal systems for earning items, rewards, skill play. However, while there are many iconic and satisfying items in the system today, others have a lot of hidden, hard to notice power that makes them feel weak or unsatisfied. That is true. That is true. I'm sorry. I drink my coffee. Reactive item choices add game-to-game variance and reward strategy. Unlike rooms, thumbs up if you were here with the runes and the masters where you had to buy the glyphs and the seals. Oh my. That 1% crit. It was like if it popped off in game, you just kill somebody. It's man, that was back in the day. Unlike runes, you can continuously adjust your item build based on what's happening in the game. We want players to read and react to each game's unique happenings with smart item choices that lead to higher success than if they build the same things in the same order every game. Okay, now it's not really fair because a lot of apps like Blitzcrank, a lot of apps like Blitz, Poro Professor, OP.G, like all that stuff that tells you what to build, it basically ingrains low elo players to build one way every single game. Whereas if you have high elo players, even if they use that app to say, well, oh, they're building that right now, they'll still innovate and build what they think is better at that moment. And that's not really a Riot thing. That's more of like the population in my opinion, and I'm only speaking for the servers that I've coached and the servers that I've played on. So if anything's like Japan or Korea, you know, actually I've coached Japan, but I haven't coached Korea nor China. Did I coach Japan? It was China. No, I coached China, not Japan. It was one of them. I forgot. But the places that I've coached already, I feel like it's the same. Like all these apps just make it really, really easy for you to kind of just build the same thing over and over. And you would think, well, the app knows best, but it's not really true. The app is there to basically give you that training wheel. Okay, well now you got used to the champ, cool. Now you go nuts. But that, like I said, I don't think it's a Riot thing. It's not because their items just straight up suck. It's because most of the population follow build orders or guides about certain situations and just do it over and over and over again. And that's why I'm very careful about when I release my guides and when I release my videos, because I don't want a video to make it seem like it's the same thing over and over, because I emphasize a lot that it's scenario based. Whatever I teach, and if I know it's not going to happen every single game, I'll say it's scenario based. It's situational. It's not going to happen all the time. But in this case, I usually say stuff like that because I know this game changes all the time based off what game you play. And so I don't think it's definitely a Riot issue, but I'm glad that they're assessing it because, you know, I like that. But I don't think much is going to change, unfortunately, because of these apps just make it easier for players until they get like taught by someone that's a coach or someone that's just better than them, or maybe they look at the video or something like that. For some champion classes like tanks, the item system offers rich strategic depth and choices. True. On the other hand, we have a number of classes and champions with linear builds without room for adaptation. Mage items are particularly solved. Partially. Wait, no, particularly, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm like, what the? It just didn't make sense. Mage items are particularly solved. Like, what? That doesn't make sense. But yeah, the only role that I think builds straight one way for at least 3 items is AD carry. But that's core items. That's not really like a linear build path, I would think. And then like towards later in the game, you do have other choices. As I said though, all these apps are pretty much making you build the same thing. And so when you're trying to learn a champion and then try to learn the game at the same time and you start climbing, you're like, I'll just keep using Blitz. There's a lot of students that I know that use Blitz and do not deviate. They'll Alt Tab and then look at what's the next item. Alt Tab, what's the next item? And that's not the way to play. And as I said, that's not a Riot problem. That's just the player base. You know, it's their problem for wanting to take that shortcut way out. I get it makes things easier, but at the end of the day, you're not really knowing what you're doing building. You know, you're not really knowing why you're building something. You're just doing it. And so using it as training wheels was fine when you get used to the champion. But once you reach about like 50 games with the champ or something like that, 25 really, you better let that build path go. Understanding like using Blitz to be like, okay, well that champion does this. I know how to counter that. That's fine. But like when it comes to the build, you gotta like let that go eventually once you get used to your champion. And there are players that I've seen in Bronze and Iron that I've coached, and they're like building this item, and I'm like, why are you building that? And they give me a really good reason. I'm like, oh, okay, damn, you need to be coaching me. So they know they're champions, and that's just not everybody. So if a Bronze and Iron player can do it, you know, Silvers can, Golds can, Platinums can, Diamonds can, Masters can, Grandmasters better be, and Challengers better be. This depends heavily on... Wait, this is the wrong one. Okay, so items augment your champion's playstyle. Full item build shortly integrated a slight gameplay twist or addition into a champ's play pattern that doesn't override the champion's kit. True. A perfect example of this today is Trinity Force, which adds a nuance but not overly complicated new auto attack pattern. Not every item should do this individually, or else a full build would be asking you to do too many things at once. That's true. I agree. Udyr is one of those champions that is very versatile. There's a lot of champs, handful, that are very versatile. They can build pretty much whatever they want. And those are the champions that really help you understand which item does what and why would you build it. There's not a whole bunch of those champions that can do that. So, but what they're saying, yes, is true. Like you would build certain things for certain situations, and that would basically change how you play. Not every champ does that because not every champ can do a lot of things. Udyr is terrible, but he can do a lot of things. You know what I mean? If he's got a split push, he can. If he's building a one shot, he can. If he's building to be tanky, he can. I mean, he's not really that tanky, but he could do it. And honestly though, a lot of that comes from if he's ahead, anything works. So that champ is so bad that he's bad in a good way. If he's fed, any build you put on that champion is going to work, which means you can play any way you want to play. But your champ's still going to suck. And there's not many champs that do that, but that is one of them that is actually... Master G is another one. Like, I feel like these old champions can kind of get away with it a lot more because when they're reworked or when they're a new champion, they tend to already like have a pre-direct place they want, like Riot wants them to be, so to speak. Not just role, but what they want to do. And so the only champ that I can say for sure that had like a lot of options was Aphelios. And even then his build order was pretty much like the same as other AD carries, so. All right. Current assessment, okay. I agree. This depends heavily on which class or champion you look at, with some being about right, some with not enough new interest, marksman, true, and some with too many effects that overshadow their champion's kit, enchanters. This depends heavily on which class or champion you look at, with some being about right, some with not enough interest, and some with too many effects that overshadow their champion's kit. I don't get what they mean by that. Oh, you know what? They're talking about... Yeah, no. I didn't lose, like, focus, but it was just, like, I didn't know what they meant by that. But now that I think about it, yeah. A lot of the items, when you're building stuff like enchanters, like, you could build so many things to, like, make, like, just, like, yeah, overshadow the kit. Okay, I get it. I was just, like, confused on the way that they worded it. Riot is elusive, okay? The item system is innovative. With a deep and complex item system, the choices, stats, and ways you acquire items should be clear and intuitive. Did I say innovative? I did. Intuitive. You guys probably heard me read that. You guys, what are you talking about? No, intuitive. Poor. Wow, they hit themselves hard. This is a clear area of improvement for us in many areas. Navigating the shop, the way stats stack and interact, and understanding trade-offs between items, unique, and stats are all areas that we can... True. You don't really know what... Like, I'm pretty sure about 70% of the population everybody that's below diamond, when they buy an item, they really don't know what, unless you one trick the hell out of that champion, you really don't know what you're getting yourself. Like, does that make sense? Like, when you buy an item, you're not buying it because it's going to give you this many AD and this many AD allows for this, right? That's high elo play. You're just buying it because it's like, this works with my champion. And so, yeah, there's really no clarification on like what exactly you're getting, other than like, oh, well, Triforce, you get the bonus enhance hit. Dustblade, you get the slow, and like, you know, like the obvious things. But stuff like Last Whisper, like, you just buy that and just assume. Black Cleaver, you just buy that and just assume. You know what I mean? So they do need to do something with that to, like, it lets players know, like, this is exactly what's happening. A lot of, hold on, let me go back. A lot of prospective players who might love League are scared away by the impenetrable item system in their first few games. True. We believe learning the item system over time is a key part of growing as a League player, but an unintuitive system can be a roadblock to believing it's possible to achieve that growth. Exactly. You know, that's probably why people just tend to default to Blitz and Pro Professor and stuff like that, because it is hard. It is really hard. Recently, not recently, probably like a year ago, maybe like almost a year ago, I played Smite, and obviously I know what, you know, I obviously played a MOBA, which is League, right? So I'm pretty much sure, like, I know what items do in terms of, like, you need to look for certain things for your character. But getting through that many items, be like, what specifically do I need? What do I need? I don't know what to get. Like, that is hard. And then if you apply that to the same factor of you playing ranked at the same time, you're in base for a lot longer than you need to be. And so this is why players, I would think, default to like that Blitz app, because it does take a long time to learn these items, and you're already trying to learn how to play the game. You're already trying to learn how to play the champion. Like, it's just way too damn much. And so, yeah, I think clarification on like how to, like, what items not actually only do, how it affects your champion, but also give me a clear cut, like, thing to know what is good with for my champion, you know? Because if you don't know and there's like 100 items, bro, you lost. Like, you're just confused, and it's just way better to get the Blitz app and stuff like that for that. That being said, though, that creates those players that depend on the Blitz app, which means that if they don't have the Blitz app, they don't know what to build, and if the situation requires them to build something different, they don't know what to build. And so it is a very, very bad trade-off, and I think if those two platforms can kind of work together, platforms as like all the apps, not just Blitz, but I'm just going to say two platforms can work together a little bit more, it definitely will make it a lot easier, because definitely those apps have a lot more clarification than Riot does, and that's a problem because it's their game, you know? Goals for this preseason. With a refined understanding of the ideal system and where we're falling short, we establish our goals for this year's preseason work. Item purchasing is quick and intuitive. Okay, that's necessary. Every champion can make strategic decisions through item choices in every game. Cool. Item builds enable exciting ways to master your champion. Great. It feels epically powerful and enhance. Wait, what? It feels epically powerful and enhance your champion's fantasy. No comment. Iconic items are retained, and you don't have to relearn everything from scratch. Good, because that's what I was afraid of. And that's what they do every season. They say this, but they add shit you got to learn from scratch anyway. And so that's why I don't really care about what happens next season until the previous season or the prior season is over. So I don't have to like backtrack. Polishing every item. Beyond, how long is this? Okay. I mean, it's expected, right? As I said, I'm going to be going over this stuff. So it is expected these are going to be pretty long. I may stream it one day. Would you guys like that? I stream it and then it just goes to my library and you guys can like talk and whatnot. I don't know, man. But I do want to do this a little bit more often so you guys know what's going on. Because a lot of people that play the game don't have any clue what the hell's going on and they just deal with it. But if you guys can have a better understanding coming from someone who's not really going to feed you any biased things and really just gives their simple opinion, then I'm glad you're watching. Polish every item. Beyond our goals for the project overall, we also laid out some principles we think every item should meet in order to hit our highest design quality. Items have a clear, unique, and single purpose. That's what's necessary. Yeah, we just said that, huh? We want every item in the shop to have a clear purpose that sets it apart from other choices in the shop. Multiple items overlapping its purpose or items with confused or conflicting mechanics undermine the clarity of the choices that bloat the system. Yes, I just said that. I'm glad we on the same wavelength here, because that's literally what I just said with the Last Whisperer thing. It's like you just build it. You don't know why you're building it. You don't know how much it's actually doing. You just say, I need armor for whatever. They're tanky. I built this, right? And you don't really know exactly what the hell is happening. But then you're like, well, Black Cleaver does the same thing, doesn't it? Well, what about Bort? Like, you don't really know. And so, yes, being more transparent would help a ton. Items fit one or two archetypes. Either a contextual... Come on, right? I can't do this. Contextual purpose or a kit augment. In picking apart the successful items that have improved the game over the years, we discovered that items in general can be broken down into two major types. Contextual purpose. Situational items that allow players to counter certain champions or events in the game, such like, it's exactly what I was saying. Kit augments are items that are pickable in any game, and you have a satisfying synergy with the champion's kit to make the feeling. Yes, that's what I just said. That's exactly what I just said. Yes to all that crap. That's exactly what it feels like. You buy stuff because it's you're countering the other champion, or you buy stuff for your champ. Like, there's no other, like, there are other items between those two, but because players are so fucking mainstream, those items don't get picked. And as an example, Abyssal Mask, right? How many champions can build Abyssal Mask? A lot, but how many champions actually do? Like 3. Ornn, Malphite, and like, you see what I mean? Like, Adaptive Helm's the same way. Everybody just rushes to Spirit Fish. And so that is exactly what needs to be cleaned up, because there's a lot of items within the game, and because there are so many that are just a lot of BS and you don't really know what it's specifically doing, if it's working or not, you just hit that mainstream Blitz app, Portal Professor, just build over and over and over and over again. And it is better that you're doing that than just building some random stuff, but at the same time, you're really hindering your gameplay because you won't know what to build in the right situations. And interesting build paths. Provide variety and small choice opportunities. Great legendary items, tier 3, have smaller choices prepared throughout. Okay, are these like new items already? Great, I would assume, yeah. Great legendary items, tier 3, have smaller choices. That's not even prepared, that's peppered, right? Peppered throughout each component. Or what are they talking about? Why do they do that? Each component or advanced item choice. Small optimizations to respond to a lane matchup. If I'm building Trinity Force, do I build Stinger for longer all-ins or Sheens for trades? Or risk-reward trade-offs around buying small or saving up for a bigger component. I have 1100 gold. Do I back on a pickaxe or risk? Yeah, that's true. But once again, not many players see it that way. That's what they think, but not many players see it that way. And when they say great legendary items tier 3, they mean stuff like the Triforce. They mean just completed items in general. So you have basically three tiers, right? If we just say Bloodthirster, well, Bloodthirster builds out of a BF sword, I think another longsword, and then a vampiric scepter, and then you have the Bloodthirster. So the order of tiers goes longsword, right? It's by itself, and then vampiric scepter along with the longsword, and then the BF, and then the Bloodthirster. See what I mean? So they're going up like that. Same thing for like Triforce, right? You have the longsword, the ruby crystal, the sapphire crystal, and then the 2 daggers. That's the tier 1. And then you have the actual finished items of those 3, which is Phage, Sheen, and then Stinger, tier 2. And then you have the actual Triforce, tier 3. Does that make sense? So everything's like a tree. They never really like specified on that. Then again, I never read any of this stuff when they released it a long time ago, so maybe they did. But if you guys are ever confused about that, that's what they mean. I didn't know it was considered a great legendary item, but right. Okay. But yeah, no. What they're saying is like, you could definitely choose which one you want to build first. Well, I'd rather have the lifesteal right now, so I'm going to build a vampiric scepter over buying a BF sword. Even if I do have the 1300 gold, I'm just going to spend 900 on that vampiric scepter, and then I'm going to just have, that 350, so I'm just going to wait for the extra 50 gold and then get that over the BF sword. So basically just choosing those item components to better fit what you want to do at that moment. And most of the students I do coach do understand that concept. Do they usually apply it all the time? No, but they do understand the concept. They're like, they usually ask me though, like, should I buy this first or should I buy that first? And so, yeah, that is something that people do know, but I just don't think it's used to its maximum potential sometimes. Item design is elegant, and we use only the mechanics that we need. Over time, a lot of items have accumulated some unnecessary bloat in the number of stats and passive effects. We can do the work to focus items into needed stats and mechanics for them to. Sorry, I was in a burp, so excuse me. I don't know, you guys probably didn't hear it, but that's why I didn't want to finish that sentence, because I knew it was going to come out. So I was like, mechanics for them to effectively deliver their purpose. Okay, definitely necessary. Items contribute to an overall healthy game by not removing counterplay and weaknesses. I remember this one because I remember when Sash could not remove Zed's ultimate anymore. So everybody was like, how are you supposed to survive? And then they got used to it, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's another, like I said, hard one. Because it's like, well, if you keep the Sash, yeah, it makes dealing with Zed easier, but then Zed doesn't really have any play. Zonya already makes it impossible, and then Banshees, of course, if he ults that. So you're making a Sash like be just as bad. So once again, just another hard balance thing, I think, a balance choice. We want the item system to move the game closer to its ideal state where all champions have clear weaknesses and counterplay, as well as the right durability, utility, and damage output. Reactive or counter item choices should confer an advantage against the right opponent, but not completely negate them. Yes, that's pretty much what the Sash was for Zed. Additionally, they are meant to come at a significant cost to the champion's ideal build path. For example, diverting into a defense item should offer significantly less DPS than the pure offensive alternatives, but is still the right choice against the Fed Assassin. I don't really like this, because personally, there are so many champions that require you to build something. It's just not fair, and it's not fun, right? How many times do you have to build a Sash? How many times do you have to build a Zonias? Right? And maybe in a low reload, you can kind of get away with not doing that crap. But when you reach about platinum, I mean, I consider that still low elo. But when you reach that platinum, kind of that mid elo there, you don't get the choice. You just have to build what they tell you to build. Like, there's no, I'm just going to stay safe from Malzahar. No, you got to build a Sash. Well, I'm just going to play safe with Malphite. No, you're gonna have to build something. You're gonna have to build a GH, just rush it or something like that if you're gonna get comfortable. Well, I'm gonna have to play safe against him. It's hard. And so that goes for mages too. Or squishy top laners. Like, there's just too many things that are super high threat, and a lot of champions overlap that thing where it's like, oh, I guess this game I gotta build that. Oh, I guess this game I gotta build that. Oh, I guess this game I gotta build that. Because a lot of the champions kind of do the same thing when it comes to damage sometimes. And so this I don't agree with. I do, but I don't, because I don't want to be forced to build something for that champion, because it happens so frequently. I don't get a chance to actually play the game because I'm always sinking 1300, or I'm always sinking 650. Is that what it is for stopwatch, or is it 850? 800, 650? I think it's 650. I'm always sinking something into something to counter another champion, and it's not fun because I want to get to my core build. I want to play the game. Nope, I have to wait this long to do it, which means if I do sink that into there, guess what? I'm weaker than I should be to carry this game. But because I'm weaker, I can't carry this game anymore. Supports have the same thing happen to them, right? Like, they want to build something for the ADC. Like, let's say they want to get Ardent Sensor, which is fine, and then they're like, I want to get Redemption. Well, you might need a Crucible because your ADC keeps getting locked down by everything. So it's like, oh, well, I guess I gotta build a Crucible. And it's like, well, I guess I gotta build Locket. Like, and don't get me wrong, with support items, it's not very, you still have fun playing support. I think that was one of the things that they hit earlier a long time ago, was like, we want to change support items. So support is still kind of fun in that sense. But ADCs, mid laners, junglers, and top laners, you have to deviate a lot sometimes because of that one champ on the other team is super fed, or that one champ on the other team is just a problem, and you don't really get to enjoy your build or enjoy how strong you are. You might be 5-0, but because you have to buy something for the other champion, you don't get to feel that you're 5-0, and I don't think that's okay. So that's just my thought. I wouldn't know how to balance that. That's not my job, but I do think that not being able to build your items because of a specific thing happening in the game isn't fun when it happens every single game. If it's like, oh, 1 out of 3 games, I have to build this one item, or 1 out of 4. That's a little bit more, it sucks, but that makes more sense. But when it's every damn game, bro, it's like, what the fuck? I can't even build my core before I have to build something for this champion, and that's just not cool, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe you guys feel different. Let me know in the comments, but I really do feel like that it just makes the game kind of suck sometimes when you have to build that specific item first because of that champion is just massively ahead right now. And so now, even if they're not ahead sometimes, like Zed, for instance, you have to rush his Zonias or a stopwatch because you're going to die at 6. Like, that is bull. And I don't like that. Last up, but definitely not least, is the shopping interface. There's a ton of room for improvement here. While nothing has been finalized yet, we do have early components to help illustrate some of their designs. Broadly, there are 2 main types of users for the shop. So we want to create, wait, what? Broadly, there are 2 main types of users for the shop. So we want to create versions of the interface that serve each player and what it wants. So I've seen a little bit of this on like when people stream. So I'm not really new to like the way that it looks. I was kind of happy. It looked kind of cool. But then again, it started to look really, really cluttered. And it looked like I didn't know what the hell I was looking at. But I would assume once you start playing a couple games, you'll get used to it. Let me know in the comments if you guys play PvE and you're like, I got used to it. It's not that bad once you start using it. Or it's like, this is horrible, man. I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. I'm a veteran. I know exactly what I need to buy. And all this crap just makes it too many bells and whistles for me. Like, let me know what you guys think. Rec items are for the player wanting a more guided experience. Show me the best choice, but don't overwhelm me. Okay, that's necessary for those new players. Better recommendations compared to our current handmade recommended items pages, which can easily become out of date. We want to directly integrate our data to have always up-to-date recommendations based on highly skilled player choices. That's a mouthful of a paragraph, wasn't it? Focus choices. Not every item is equally viable at a given point in the game, and that shop can make it hard. Wait, what? And the shop can make it hard to find viable choices since it presents hundreds of options at once. We want rec items to dynamically surface the top few choices to players at point in the game. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've seen that too. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice integration. Don't remove the strategy. Even though this is more curated shop experience, we still want to present options to players, not a linear build path. Knowing when it's the right game for the Thornmail or random zone is still a decision we want to leave to the player. Okay, that's kind of nice. Contextual analysis. Helping less experienced players gain experience with reactive item decisions making is... Oh my goodness. I cannot read right now. That's what happens when I get passionate about something, you know? Now I have to go back to reading, and it's like, I don't even want to read no more. I just want to voice opinions. Helping less experienced players gain experience with reactive item decision making is a core goal. So we're adding some new systems to analyze the allies and enemies in each game and show you which items offer effective counters or synergies. That looks like it's going to be a pain in the ass to deal with, not too good a lie. Okay, so this is the one that I have yet to see. I've usually been seeing people stream this. So this is, I guess, for the players that are good. That sounds bad. The players that are veterans. You can favorite items. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a game changer. You know what? Favorite items. Let me zoom it in for you guys, I guess. Is that better? You guys can't respond, but yeah, I like the favorite items. That's pretty badass. I guess that's whatever over there. But yeah, you guys see what I mean? This is like tier 1, right? And then this is a tier 2. And then that is tier 3 right there. So it's 1, 2, 3. They're trees. Like I said, if you'd never paid attention, you wouldn't know. So don't feel bad. It looks nice, I guess. But it doesn't really serve a huge... I don't know, man. I'm conflicted, honestly. As I said, this is a while ago, so they could have done a lot more different things to this. as I said, we're going to be playing catch up within these next couple of days. All items is for the advanced player that already knows the shop inside and out. Give me all of the options in one place for fast and easy access. All items that you need on one screen. Oh, that's what that's showing me. Oh, that's pretty bad. I like that. This is the one-stop shop, literally, for an expert player to go to find the purchases items that they with the fewest clicks. Consistent position. With the invested player in mind, we want to make sure that the place where items are placed in a logical layouts on the screen, and we move them rarely, if at all. This can allow you to develop muscle memory over time and learn exact. That's smart, because yeah, sometimes the items are moving around so much. I just see people typing it in like, like, what do you want me to buy? What do I need to buy? Okay, type. And I'm laughing because the thing is, with like players at higher elo, they usually like shop before they back. So what I mean is, like, when there's downtime, there's nothing to really do, and you're walking somewhere, they'll already like pick the item that they need, and then they'll just buy it, and like when they back, it's already there prepared. But when you see players just typing it out, it's hilarious. Man. If you're one of those players that type it out, I'm not making fun of you. As I said, it's whatever. It's each player's thing. It's just funny to watch sometimes. That's all. I'm sorry. Data enhancements. I can't even talk. Sorry. Dude, it is funny though. It's hilarious. We also want to integrate our own data capabilities into the all items interface to highlight viable items for your champion. Finding items and building quickly will be easier than ever. What? We also want to integrate our new data capabilities into the all items interface to highlight more viable items for your champion. Oh, okay. This is only the beginning of a long and exciting road to preseason. We're revealing our plans as early as possible so that we can see the process as much. I'm sorry, guys. This is how you know I've been reading for too damn long. We're revealing our plans as early as possible so that we can see and process as much of your feedback as we can. Thanks again for playing. We look forward to forging an incredible future for League together. The Summoners Rift team. Okay. That was a big bang of a patch, wasn't it? It's not even a patch. It's game plans. But yeah, if this is something you guys want to see more of, like I said, I'm going to be playing catch up, making more videos. I have it all like bookmarked, and I know what was released when, and so we're just going to kind of go through like that. This is pretty much going to be the coach chat. As I said before, this is basically like podcasts where I don't really show anything on the screen. It's more of just talking. If you guys see the other coach chats, you know that pretty much there's just gameplay behind me, and I'm just talking about things. So if you guys would like me to talk about a specific concept where you're like, oh, this new thing happened in League, what are your thoughts? Or you want my thoughts about it, let me know in the comments. If you're like, yeah, I want to see more of this because I wasn't really paying attention, or I just didn't understand it when I read it, let me know in the comments. Give me that like to make sure that I should be making more. I know this is really lengthy and long. Like I said, I might stream sometimes, maybe. I'll like pick a date and we can just kind of all hang out together, and we will go through it together, and I'll answer questions if you guys got it and stuff like that. If that's something you guys want to do too, let me know. But I do plan on doing more of what Riot releases too. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I know this was very, very long. Hope to see you guys next time. Any questions, let me know. If you guys want a free VOD review, join my Discord on the weekends, get those free VODs. Free coaching is going to be once you reach 200 subscribers, we'll get free coachings every week or every month. I'm still not sure yet, just depends on my schedule. And thank you, Patreons, of course, for you guys allowing me to be able to make a video like this when I have the time to make it. So everybody that's been supporting, I do appreciate it, no matter how much or how little. Thank you a lot. So thank you a lot. Really, I need to have a better outro sometimes. This is because it's always at the top of my, I'm sorry. I'll stop. Have a good rest of your day, night, everything else, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for approaching this like a coach.